think, it's like Thomas Henry Huxley, who was his bulldog, did reflect it. So I think we lost the plot in that sense, that everything is, which brings me to Emendem.
Yeah.
Do you think Emendem's version of evolution is exactly as we should interpret it as a species? Because he's very insistent on that.
Well, he says it's all consumption and reproduction, but he forgets the third term, which is production. So production meaning there is creation.
No. He's very much into production and productivity. I disagree.
Well, he thinks that only human beings can be productive, and I'm talking about like life itself. He's a self-producing, self-organizing system,
self-destroying as well.
And Gary doesn't acknowledge that creative aspect of it. He says it's all just a reproducing molecule that accidentally emerged. I don't think it was an accident. I think matter has been moving in that direction.
She wouldn't do that. That drives me bonkers.
Well, I just like to have I have a desire to have a coherent cosmology that allows me to understand how it is that matter could come to life, and that's.
But why do you think that there is an intentionality to evolution? I mean that does drive me insane.
Well,
you think there's an intentionality to evolution, that it intended to become, Matt Siegel.
No, I didn't say that. See, here's the thing. There's a mechanical interpretation of evolution, and then there's a finalist or a teleological or a Lamarckian interpretation of evolution. The mechanists will deny that there's any teleology whatsoever. The finalist will not deny that there's mechanism and accidental random mutations that lead to certain forms being selected for. Every teleological biologist would grant that. They're just adding that, look, there's obviously also this pull towards greater complexity, because that's simply what we observe if we look at the 4 billion year history of life on Earth.
But if there is a tendency to emergence or something like that, that we, I'm really postulating here, because this is not, but there may be something, but it's not what you're saying, I don't think. I don't think the universe intends in any sense that is comprehensible.
I think it has a tendency. There are many ways of exploring what exactly that tendency is, and I wouldn't pretend to have the final say or final answer on exactly how to define that tendency, but the fact that the tendency exists, I think, is clear enough, because here we are,
Yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. It's like.
Well, do you think the human being has access to purpose and meaning and some degree of agency, even if it's not free, quote unquote? At least there's willpower, there's agency. Do you think human beings possess that?
Free will.
What?
I think we have free will.
Okay. So then, where did it come from? Is it just it takes a certain number of neurons before that happens, and then all of a sudden there's purpose and there's free will?
3,000,000,005 neurons, actually, I found out.
Is that the exact?
That's why I sort of offered sort of a fudge to say that there could be emergence. There could be some, emergence that we. But I don't think intention. It really bothers me because it's too. It just doesn't work.
Well, that word might just have too much baggage for you, Karen. I might say just throw it away at that point. Use a word that. Is there another word that you guys could come to agree on?
Because intention implies agency. Okay, intention implies there is an acting agent. Do you see what I'm saying, John?
Yeah.
There's definitely something acting going on
maybe
in the universe.
No. we are acting.
Well,
We are within the universe.
Yeah.
If you do the Venn diagram.
Well, here's the thing. You can accuse me of anthropomorphism, and I can accuse you of anthropocentrism for saying that only human beings can be actors and agents.
Oh,
the only species in the
all
universe,
species on the planet are acting.
including single-cell bacteria.
Yes.
Okay, so when
That's
atoms
just
follow
agency.
gravitational
They don't
gradients,
have agency the way we do, but they do act.
they act.
Yes, of course they do.
Is it a purposeful? I mean, a bacteria swims towards
Of course
food,
it's
right?
not. It's guided by instinct.
Instinct.
What's
What is instinct?
What is that?
Instinct is this.
It's-
It says you will do what your genes have been programmed to do. That is instinct. It's really clear.
The gene program metaphor. I love that one. It's beautiful.
Oh, you disprove it then.
Well, I would
Disprove it.
take a Marxian approach and say that there's a bit of a gene, like Marx talks about commodity fetishism, right, where you abstract a product from the social relations responsible for making it.
Oh, I mean, I'm not a Marxist, but I agree with him on that one.
Right.
That you don't. Yes.
And so molecular biologists look at the gene and they fetishize it by saying that all of the blueprint for the entire organism is contained in some transcendental code in the genome, and that it just needs to be computed by the cell in a deterministic way. And I would say,
Well,
look,
I've done that, and it didn't really work out as people had expected, did it?
it didn't at all.
Yeah.
We're constantly surprised by what the genome actually does and how complicated it is. And I would even say that the so-called
And how much junk DNA is in there?
I wouldn't say it's junk DNA. I think the junk DNA thing is just as silly as
Extraterrestrial in origin or something.
well, I wouldn't go there, but in cosmology, because Einstein's equations don't really work
One
to
second,
explain.
battery's getting low. Can we charge this one up?
You have your plug right there.
Is it?
They add black energy and black matter to Einstein's equations to understand how galaxies remain tightly spiraled without flying apart. And these are just ad hoc additions to a theory that's obviously not complete. So they don't really.
We're doing ad hoc, aren't we? Because there is no way to discern exactly. I mean, reminds me of what I did I did a video to Corey Anton about it's like, can we where can we go exactly and where can we not go conceptually? Because it seems to me that there are too many liberties being taken with where we can go and where we can't go. And not only that, I mean, I'm willing to go anywhere, okay? But I'm not willing to suspend disbelief completely.
Right.
And, it's...
I'm just saying to when you say that like a bacterial cell is just following instinct, meaning it's following its genetic programming, all you're doing is transferring the agency to some magical gene that's supposedly causing everything to happen.
No, I'm saying there is no agency. There is simply action. And I
Okay.
think instinct is simply action that has been pre-programmed. I mean, I do agree. That's about, I agree with the
So then we're
Mendel
not
about
free. We don't have
don't
free will.
eat, and I do think there is a level that is pre-programmed.
Mhm.
I don't think human beings, he thinks that we are all, you were bringing up the example of bacteria, that we're all bacteria.
We are
But then,
mostly bacteria. We have 10 times as much bacterial DNA as human DNA in our bodies.
Oh, so you agree with him?
Well, in that sense, I just don't think bacteria are stupid. And he insults bacteria by saying, I think bacteria are pretty intelligent. They communicate genetically across their own membranes. They don't even have to reproduce to transmit and communicate genetic material. I mean, that's pretty sophisticated.
You guys hear my cat?
No, I didn't hear.
No.
He was fine. He wants me to go feed him.
Okay. Well, we should probably wrap up pretty soon.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have,
exactly. It's almost been an hour.
We have astronauts to interview, and he wanted to say hi to you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, astronaut!
Yeah, astronauts.
Ask him if I send him a friend invite if he will accept it.
We will ask him that. We got it.
Oh, wow.
Okay, did you want to go feed that cat? Make sure he's not
Yeah, I'm
starving?
gonna go feed the cat. But it's been fun. You guys edit this because it's totally incoherent as it stands. And don't make me look like the villain.
Yo, you're so gonna be the villain in this one. I'm gonna edit this one down. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it.
It's been fun. I don't think we actually made a lot of sense, but we did talk.
Yeah.
Talk.
No, it was fun, Karen. I had a good time with that. But it's we could go on and on for hours and hours trying to figure out this stuff. So
Yeah. I don't think we're the ones that are going to do it eventually.
We could probably have you back so we can really get to the nitty gritty because it feels like it just kind of scratched the surface this time.